Oh, hey there. Never really sure how to start one of these videos, but since you're here, here's a thought for the day. I've been thinking a lot about ideas and data and how really we can think about human ideas as data. In an organization, if we say, hey, what's your most valuable data? Someone may say, well, it's our CRM data, or our ERP data, or our digital analytics data, or all of that data pulled together. And that all is data that has value, absolutely. But what about the ideas that are in our and our colleagues' brains? What happens if we treat those as data, as hard data, which should be managed and governed? Or first, before it can be managed and governed, it has to actually be kind of extracted and transformed and loaded somewhere. So there's kind of the thought is what if we think about an ETL process for human ideas? And it's really not just one ETL process, it's multiple ETL processes. If we think about what our organization's goals are, what business outcomes we're trying to achieve, fundamentally, that needs to come from the ideas and the brains of our business partners. We need to extract those ideas. One way to extract them is to use what I kind of call the two magic questions. What are we trying to achieve? And how will we know if we've done that? And that can prompt some really, really useful discussion and conversation, but that's just the extraction of the data, the extraction of the ideas from their heads. We actually need to transform it and say, okay, let's take that and use that structure and put it somewhere. And in the case of goals, that probably looks like a measurement plan. And that's the data being captured, transformed, and loaded into a measurement plan, which can then be used and put to use in like a performance measurement dashboard. So that's kind of one ETL process for ideas. But there are others. If we actually say, well, we have in our data, these ideas data, we have goals, we know what we're trying to achieve. Well, what are our ideas? What do we think are the problems that may prevent us from achieving those goals? And that comes back to more extraction needed. Let's sit down and talk about and think about what are the problems that we'll need to overcome, to shrink, or to remove in order to achieve our goals. So that's another extraction process. There can be some transformation, some refinement of asking, well, how much evidence do we have that these ideas for problems really are problems? And let's kind of classify that. How big are these problems? Let's do a little transformation of that as well. Let's then get those ideas, those problems also loaded into a data store of some sort. So that's a different ETL process. We can look at another ETL process that says, well, now we have in our data set, we have our goals and our outcomes we're trying to achieve and how we're going to measure those. We have the problems that may prevent that. What are our ideas for solutions to those problems? And we can do another extraction process there as well and say, what are ideas? What do we think that, or what are our hypotheses? Well, we can say just what are ideas? What are we thinking we could do to address these problems? We can transform them by putting them into a hypothesis structure. And there are multiple structures that all work well. There's the if, then, because structure. There's the we believe, because and if we are right, we will structure. So that's a transformation process that then allows those ideas to again be loaded into a data store that can actually be used. And now that we've got that data in a hard data set, we can link it together. We can manage it. We can govern it. We can prioritize it. We can update it over time. And that is all really, really valuable rather than saying, no, we have all these ideas and this creativity, but it's just going to kind of sit out there in the organization, and we hope that it emerges when it's most relevant and we most need to use it. So there's kind of a thought experiment for the day. I actually wrote a longer piece on Medium about this. I'll link to the article if you're interested. Or I'm actually going to be talking about this idea in a little bit more detail at the upcoming Best of Marketing Analytics Summit virtual event on January 15th, 2025. And then I will also be kind of taking a different angle towards the same basic idea at the Experimentation Island event at the end of February 2025 on St. Simon's Island in Georgia. So hopefully maybe that gave you a little food for thought for the day. And now I need to end the video. That's tough. maybe I'll just walk away.